Welcome to another episode of the Back Catalogue podcast. This is the podcast where we, and by we I mean me, Alpo, and my co-host / co-founder Vincent, we dive into the streaming service. We tell you, the listener and the viewer, what is worth it and what is not. And guess what? We're back into the streaming service today. We uncovered the truth last week. We're back in the streaming services this week.
And there were just too many facts in that last episode, so
they were hard facts as well.
we're gonna go back to fiction.
It wasn't easy facts to digest, so that's why we've done the Bigfoot podcast, and then we're just back into this.
We're back into it
because you have to sit on that for a while before you go back into Bigfoot territory.
Yeah, we were actually thinking of taking a break, taking a bit of a hiatus as the back catalogue.
Yeah,
just fully digest, what we put out into the world.
Here's the thing, right? When you uncover the truth in such a way that it could change the future of humanity, you have to take a break. If people are like, this is the truth, you just got to go quiet for a bit. And then at least people think the federales have got you. So they're like, this must be true because the federales have taken them down.
Because there's some charred bodies coming out of somewhere.
They're
getting helicoptered.
I saw this post of this man that was eating ready to eat MREs. So meals ready to eat, whatever they're called. They're the ones that the armies will consume when
I think they're like military rations.
Military rations.
Meals ready to eat.
Military rations, everybody. Like MREs. That's what it is, right?
All right.
But he eats expired military rations.
Yeah, so he's like that episode in Community when they eat the expired military rations and they turn to zombies.
Oh yeah, that's what happens in that thing.
But man's he just puts the AC on and it's all good.
He puts it in age and he puts the AC on, so it's good. Well, what happened was the man's just he was posting really, really frequently and then just stopped posting. So people just think man's either someone took him down or the MREs took him down.
Man's no longer ready to eat.
He's no longer ready to eat because they're when I say expired, I'm talking he's doing WW2 stuff. And we ain't even WW3 yet,
That doesn't matter in context with what he's eating, regardless of if WW3's in 20 years or if it was 10 years ago.
But let me tell you something about eating, Vincent. Last week it was Bigfoot. This week is Big Macs because we are doing the menu. We're doing 2022's very own the menu.
That was a good segue.
Well, I just thought when you said eat, I thought I can't pass this by.
We don't let Vincent talk anymore. That's it. We're doing the actual thing that we.
This has got the 7.2 out of 10 on the IMDb. It's got the 88% on the Rotten Tomatoes.
That sounded like a professional thing. You said that like this was the podcast where, we make money, but it's not.
We make money and you can go to the Patreon to find out how.
We do, but I'm saying not like pity money.
Yeah, that's pity money.
Yeah. That's
pity money. We wipe our tears with our money.
Yeah.
It's all coins, but we wipe our tears with.
Yeah, they're not very good to wipe our tears away with, but
no, because you're just smelling coins on you at all times.
That's no, and you don't know where those coins have been.
But also, if I'm going to smell like something, I'm smelling like money.
If you don't want to smell like coins,
if you roll around just smelling like coins, you're I'm smelling like money.
That is interesting. I wonder why they haven't brought out a fragrance that's just dollars.
Just money.
Calvin Klein dollars or Calvin Klein cash.
Yeah,
it's just cash.
Dude, CKC.
And the whole commercial is just some person just there and just dollar bills are just money. There's coins being thrown. There's just all sorts of denominations.
This reminds me of, you remember the old Lynx ads? There was the one where they brought out Lynx chocolate. And I remember because when Lynx chocolate came out, we were prime position for being sold to Lynx chocolate.
We were in the Lynx game. I was heavy into Lynx.
Oh, dude.
That was it.
When we talk about Lynx Africa and we laugh about it, we were amongst Lynx Africa.
Bro, Lynx Africa was the fragrance of our entire middle school.
Because we were 12 to 13 years old.
Objectively, it was the best scent.
Objectively, it was. And when you smelt that, when someone used half a can in the gym, you knew it was going to be a good day. But there was this Lynx chocolate ad in which this guy put on the Lynx chocolate spray and he turned into a chocolate man and just women were gumming up to him, licking him, hugging him, taking bites out of him. And I thought, that's the fragrance.
That's the fragrance.
That's the fragrance.
Jeez. I stopped using Lynx when someone told me it's not deodorant.
It's just a smell.
It's just a body spray. And I'm going, what am I doing here?
Yeah, it doesn't stop the sweats.
Nah.
I mean, but as a kid, you don't care if you sweat. You just care if you're smelling good.
Yeah, but Mans wasn't smelling good because he was just masking the odor with Lynx Africa.
I mean, when you're smelling like Africa, like Lynx Africa plus BO.
Yeah.
That's
you sounded
not a
like
mix.
you've been on safari in Africa.
But the lion's been chasing you.
The lion's been chasing you. That's right, because
Yeah.
you're sweating.
Yeah. And like, RIP Cecil. We'll get into that later, but RIP Cecil.
I mean, we did a whole episode of Harambe. We might do one on Cecil as well.
Yeah, dude, man. Cecil didn't get the love
Cecil
that
didn't
Cecil
get the love.
deserved.
He did that Harambe episode, which,
That's arguably one of the best episodes we've done, and I'll say that right here on this podcast.
you could argue it.
Oh, anyone could argue something.
Anyone could argue it.
I'll argue my way out of wet paper.
All right, we're 5 minutes in. Can we talk about this
So
movie?
this has a budget 30 mil and a box office of 79.6.
Did this come out in the cinemas?
It did come out in the cinemas, but it also had a video on demand release, I believe, which is, you can buy that off a streaming service.
Yeah, you could pay Netflix to post you the VCR.
Should we talk about the fall of cinemas? Because it's been falling for a while, but like it just continues to fall, and then they say like, "Nah, cinemas are back," and then it's fallen again. Is it just in line with just a good movie coming out, and they're like, "Cinemas are back," and they're like, "Nah, we fallen."
I mean, that's just economics.
That's just economics, man. It's the ebbs and flows of economics.
It's the ebbs
But
and flows.
let's get into this. I want to see if I can get a synopsis here. But really, what I want to talk about the menu is I want to talk about food, man.
You want to talk about the menu?
I want to talk about the menu because like this movie here is a movie that you could put. I'll say it and I'll say it again. You can put this on in the background.
You can't put this movie on the background.
You can put this on in the background.
You cannot put this movie on the background.
It's a nice looking movie.
You cannot put this. You can put maybe the first 20 minutes of this movie on in the background.
When they're doing the menu things.
Yeah, but even then, it's not that enjoyable because there's not a lot of food stuff happening. Realistically, if you look at this movie, there's not a lot of actual food in the shot.
That's true. There's the sort of food shots, like
when they do in food shows.
Yeah, that's
as
right.
in, hey, this is this meal. It's got this, and like this man died for it.
Yeah,
You know?
I love that.
I love when Jamie Oliver does that.
I love when Jamie Oliver kills a man to like put on like roasted potatoes.
Yeah, this
with a
is
bit of
spoilers for
rosemary.
the menu. Like heads die.
Yeah, 100%. We always do spoilers here, and we do it like considerately.
We don't do it considerately. We just throw them in and then after the fact.
But you do make a good point. Maybe they could have done a bit more food porn in this and just got the food right on the.
Yeah, but that's not what the movie's about.
I know, but I like that.
Yeah, but you just watch a food show for that.
Yeah, but
You don't watch a thriller going, man, I really want to see like some creme brulee, bro. I want to see that little fire thing. I want to see him sear it.
Yeah.
See the tuna as well.
Tell me you don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that.
Ray
When I'm watching-
Fiennes doing it.
I don't know who Ray Fiennes is. All right.
That's the man's. That's his name. So this is the main characters in this movie.
Is he a chef?
He's the chef.
Who?
The chef in this movie.
Isn't his name like Sloane?
But the actor is Ray Fiennes.
Just that one over, mate. Yeah, okay, fair
But
enough.
his name is spelt Ralph Fiennes.
Oh, Ralph Fiennes.
Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Ray Fiennes though. That's how he says his name. I'm Ray Fiennes. But it's Ralph Fiennes. Like you're into acting when you've been in a couple of movies and you start calling yourself Ray Fiennes.
I can get Fiennes from Fiennes.
Yeah.
I can get that because FINNES. I ain't never seen that before, so you can tell me it's pronounced.
You
like,
can say it's Fiennes.
whatever. But who calls a man Ralph Ray? I mean,
As Ray Fiennes.
that's Ray Fiennes. But I mean, look, you can do what he wants.
I mean, if you're in that movie where you're like a pilot and then you get burnt up and you're just in a bed for the whole movie, but it's like a movie apparently. Like you can call yourself Ray Fiennes because that's one of his movies. But then you've got Anya Taylor-Joy, you've got Nicholas Hoult. Man in this film.
Nicholas Hoult. Yeah.
What a great selection of actors. I think Nicholas Hoult and Anya Taylor-Joy are just like this is the next generation.
She is the
main
character. Yeah.
of the menu. She's the main course.
You look at that. As soon as you see the heads on that boat, and I'm just going to get into this.
Get into it.
Well, you can go jump back to that. But as soon as you see the heads on the boat, and they're all just like rich heads.
Yeah.
And you see Anya Taylor-Joy, whose name is like Elsa, or no, that's the other lady's name that she killed. Her name is Margot, but it's actually
Margot.
something else.
Yeah.
Like
Meredith
Elise
or something.
or Eris.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, Anya Taylor-Joy. As soon as the movie comes up, you know that like she's going to survive.
Oh, well, I mean, here's the thing about Anya Taylor-Joy. One, what a breakout. Like, she's just become a breakout star.
I've never seen her before.
You have, because you've seen Split and you've seen Glass, and she's in both of those movies.
Is she?
She's in both. She's the person that gets kidnapped in Split and then sort of gets Stockholm Syndrome in Glass.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember that.
You know, she's in Sweden. She's in Sweden. You know what I mean? But Anya Taylor-Joy is doing Anya Taylor-Joy things. She's just a great actor.
If anyone got that reference that we just made, leave a comment because I don't know what it was. So
it's Stockholm Syndrome. I said she's in Sweden.
That's it.
That's it. That's the joke. But I yelled it. You know, for me, that's comedy for me. But so she's just a great.
This is what happens when you do Greek Easter. You can't eat meat. You need protein, bro.
I mean, I've been fasting, but like, you know. I'm not doing the traditional fast.
In Sweden?
Oh, man. In Sweden. Anya Taylor-Joy, tremendous actor. You got Nicholas Hoult, who just plays the best asshole in this movie. The best passive-aggressive, abusive asshole.
He's an interesting character, isn't he?
Yeah. Because at the start when I saw him, I'm thinking, this would be me. If I'm going to something that I'm really enjoying, I'm thinking like I'm heaps excited for it. I'm taking photos of everything.
Yeah.
I'm on that boat. I know that I don't necessarily belong on this boat.
Because also he just seems like a regular dude.
Yeah.
They seem like the outliers there, and then obviously as it goes on, Mans is not an outlier.
He's not an outlier.
I mean, yeah, we can talk about that later.
We'll talk about that. But the way that this movie starts, you feel that, like, if you're watching this with your partner, you feel like this could be you. You could be these two people coming on this boat. You somehow got these tickets, whether you paid out the wazoo for them and you won a prize. You're on the Today Show. They said, hey, you won this prize. You're there.
David Kochie is saying, hey, you won this prize.
Yeah.
Because you phoned in at the right time.
You phoned in, like, it's cash cow, and you've got it.
Are they still doing that?
I mean, I don't know if I don't watch.
Yeah, I was about to say the last time I saw that was probably 5 years ago.
Yeah, so they were doing cash cow back then, though.
That's what I mean. But you haven't been watching it recently.
I mean, COVID's come through, so like cash cow could die.
We'll get Dave on the phone. We'll
he's around. Just gather around. So that's a reference that like you'll get. Them on the boat, I was almost because I didn't know what this movie was. I had not seen anything about it. When I saw them on the boat, I'm thinking, one, I know this is a thriller. This is going to be pretty scary.
So what did you know going into this movie? That
there was menu things. Like, it's just there's food in this movie, and Ray Fiennes is a cook, but maybe he's a bit like loose. Maybe he's.
So you thought it was just a kitchen nightmare? I thought a Hell's Kitchen, but it was more theatrical.
I thought it was going to be like almost like a caricature of a Gordon Ramsay type coming in, but not abusing his staff, rather abusing just the people that are coming.
Which is your dream.
I mean, as in me getting abused.
Yeah.
Is my dream.
While you're eating for some reason.
Oh, dude, I mean, that's hilarious.
But did you think people were going to die in this movie?
I had no idea that people were going to die in this movie.
See, I inadvertently saw this. It was one of the auto playing things on Disney Plus when we were watching something else.
Yeah. And
all I saw was, heads in the room, and then Ray Fiennes is saying, you've got like 45-second head start, and then the dude just runs.
Right.
So I was thinking it was Hunger Games.
It becomes like a Hunger Games
and that's
scenario.
Well, it doesn't.
So, it looks like it's going to become a Hunger Games scenario.
It's definitely a Hunger Games scenario because they're hungry and they're playing games.
I mean, you get a dish that's just entirely sauces. You're playing games with me now.
I mean, they're playing games, yeah.
But yeah, when as this movie progressed, then they started saying like, "Hey, you're going to die." I was like, "Hey, maybe these people are going to die."
Maybe this.
So I sort of knew, man.
Yeah. So I had I was intending for people to die in the movie because I was actually the director. Yeah. No, I was anticipating that heads would die.
Yeah. So when I saw them on the, you put two people going to an island, two nice looking people going to an island. I'm thinking maybe something's going to go down, how they're going to get off of it, but I didn't know exactly what.
The name's also Hawthorne Island. That's just
it's a nice name.
That's a name that has got a bit of creepiness to it, I think, especially if it's Hawthorne with an E.
Yeah.
When Hawthorne from the Gather Round.
And when you see Hawthorne Island, it does look like a cult space. And when you see like the quarters of the staff, that's when you start to think, what's going on? And are these staff here against their own will? Is there some sort of cult in which Nicholas Hoult becomes a staff member? which he does.
He does.
In a way.
Not a very good staff member.
But yeah, the opening of this movie was, I think, as good as it will get for this style of movie, where they just didn't give you enough, but they gave you a little bit of a sense of dread.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's what the best thrillers do. They don't and I'm not a fan of horror really, but the thriller elements I can appreciate because you're building up this tension, and in this case it was of someone like you probably weren't really expecting that much because you just went in there you're like, hey, there's food.
I was.
Where Jamie at? That's what you were thinking.
I was straight up in the midst of COVID, so I was just like, I'm just watching anything I can watch.
That's right. Yeah. And I was looking at it like, I know that heads are going to die, but I was thinking, what's going to happen? And the way that it, kind of slowly ramps up, things just feel, this is a little bit odd. The way that Elsa lady was introduced to anything, that was creepy as hell.
When Margot gets, is that who you're talking about?
No, the
chef's
lady
second hand.
Yeah, the lady that was introducing front of house.
Front of house. Yeah.
I don't know anyway.
But yeah, I do agree. One of the things that got me a little bit was when Anya Taylor-Joy kept looking and sort of making eye contact with that older couple. Because I'm thinking is there some weird paternal, maternal things going on here? Is this person's daughter, and at the end of the movie they're going to come together and it's going to be some big conspiracy going on between those people, and it turns out man's just Me Too'd himself in front of her, which I think is great because man's got his comeuppance obviously, but these little things that get thrown at you at the start of the movie, I didn't know where to look, and that was great. Then when we get into it, you get a sense of ease initially, but every time,
because there's excitement. They're there for this thing, Ray Fiennes is putting on this show. What's his name? It's something like Slocum Joe's. I know it's not Slocum Joe's because that's a fictional... It's Slocum Joe.
It's Chef Slowick.
Slowick.
Yeah, Slowick. Okay. He in himself, obviously, he's played Voldemort and all those sorts of things. Yeah. But he in himself coming into every time he came into the shot, whether it was he was coming from behind looking at what all the chefs were doing or the cooks were doing, he brought a sense of dread every time he stepped onto the thing.
Yeah, but at the start, it just looked like Mans is there honing his craft. He's there showing people hey, appreciate this stuff that I've made. Oh yeah. Here, look, here's a rock with assorted sea things on there,
and you can eat the sea things.
You can eat the sea. You can eat the rock if you want.
I mean, you could.
You could.
You ain't leaving with teeth though.
Nah. But I mean, they didn't leave with teeth anyway. So if they knew that going into that, maybe they would have had a different.
Yeah.
If they're thinking, well, I'm not going to get out of this alive. I might as well eat the rock. I'll pay for this.
And this just gave me. We on the Patreon last week we talked about food and going out for meals, and how. Well, I mean, this is what the part of this movie. It's not obviously the whole thing, but this is the thing that I took most from it is how dining experiences are changing and continue to change. Obviously, the way that the things that people like in a dining experience is different from what they liked 20 years ago. People want to go maybe for a show. They want to go for, in this movie, you're not necessarily going because the food's killer. You're going because you can look at that plate, take a photo of it, post it to Instagram, which is what Nicholas Holt's character is doing. But the thing with that rock, it reminded me of that restaurant that you went to where they're just they're giving you a gyros and it's probably a deconstructed gyros and it's got all this stuff on there and you're like, I just want the gyros.
Is that the one that I was telling you we went in Melbourne?
That's right. Yeah.
They're completely different.
I know they don't.
Because that place wasn't doing fancy stuff.
I know
they were just doing food that just wasn't good.
But that there's places out there that are doing deconstructed things just to be like, hey, this is deconstructed gyros. It's actually on the hat of a sailor that lost his life coming to Australia. He wanted the Australian dream, and this is it.
If he came here with just the clothes on his back, I'd buy that.
And the gyros is on top of it, but it's deconstructed, and the wrap is actually his
clothes. His clothes that are on his back, and are no longer on his back.
And you taste the sweat of ye old days.
I mean, is there any purer salt?
There's no pure salt. That's salt straight from the man and from the Mediterranean seas. But I can't remember where I was going with that, but I like that they showed. Yeah, I like that they showed all these little, which looked cool. All these little items that looked really cool, and and then you see all these heads, these pretentious heads, just being like, "Oh man, these sauces are fantastic. Oh no, I don't like this as much. I think that this is like, they're doing what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Critics. They're doing critical things, even though the food that they're getting is not that good. Is what I'm trying to get at. I might be flustered because I had 3 ideas in my mind. Now I've come to.
No, that's okay. So you're saying that people are being critical of the food that they have?
They're being critical of the food, but they're coming to this fancy place to just have the experience of coming to this fancy place as opposed to the food. Like they want to come out there and say, "Hey, I was at Hawthorne's. Yeah, like food was alright, but like
none of them were critiquing the food. It was just the critic.
The critic was critiquing the food, but the heads that were there to be like, I'm at Hawthorne's. Is what I was trying to get at initially. Status, and that's why I was talking about. You go to a fancy restaurant, they got deconstructed gyros. The gyros is like fine, but like I could have just gone and got that gyros from like a street corner, and it would have been just as good.
I mean, that's where the best gyros is because you get the sweat off the man's back.
You get the sweat off.
Sweat off his brow.
But it
just drips into the gyros.
That's what I liked in this movie, and then they obviously
what we're trying to say is food hygiene is destroying the industry. It's absolutely not.
I don't want people to wash their hands before they fry something because like it's going to be fried anyway. May as well fry the germs.
Don't mind a bit of fried bacteria in there.
I mean, the best food you're getting is when your nonna's like over the pot and there's sweat dripping into the pot.
I'm not eating that. I'm not eating that.
That's the best food you'll get, though. Like that's blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, but I don't want blood, sweat, and tears in my pasta.
And love, and that's the most important thing. But then I like that this movie is rounded out with the cheeseburger as well, which sort of shows that like we've lost our love for like food. Food has become art rather than food, which is fine. But maybe we need to do like a palate cleanse and go back. Yeah,
maybe we need to kill all these people to really send this point home.
And then you start off with a plot where it's like, hey, let's talk about food, but then like to make it interesting, let's kill a bunch of people. And I think that's what we got with this movie.
I think almost the ideas that the movie was coming out with, it's coming out the gate with these ideas that I don't know, rich people suck.
Yeah, it's definitely a classist.
Which we'll get into that later because I think that's hilarious in and of itself. But
I mean, rich people suck, but we're rich, so like we suck too, man. We suck in money.
But towards the end, I was, the man's was saying it was just not well. Like man's was just insane,
and everyone there was insane as well.
Yeah, because they didn't start fighting anyone.
As in
they got told they're all going to die and no one started throwing hands.
Oh, yeah. And like I would be throwing hands on people regardless. Like if they shot me there, like, so what?
That's right.
I'm going to die anyway, But also you've got, you don't know what you're going to get. And I think that's why they didn't start just throwing hands.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. See, I think because at one point, he's talking about, hey, you shut down these restaurants, so you should die. And you kiss her ass, so you should die. And then you made a movie that I saw and it sucked and it was like the only day off I had, so you should die.
Yeah, yeah.
And the lady goes, oh, hey, like, what about me? Oh, what school did you go to? Wherever. Student loans? No. Yeah, you should die.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and look, this is obviously the extreme of what the message that they're trying to put across is like greed and whatever is not good, right?
Yeah.
The opposite of what the man said in Wall Street, because he said greed is good, but it's the opposite of that. But then they get to a point where his insanity has taken him over that maybe his ideas started off as being like, hey, we want to just like give a bit back to the rich people, even though this guy has an island.
Well, no, man's wanted to. Hold on, are you talking about the character in the movie?
I'm talking about the character of the movie.
Yeah, man's. Well, he said that he started off to say, I wanted to do, my craft, and I wanted to, for the people who could pay for it, because I wanted to do these wild things. But man's just wanted to start flipping burgers. Like he lost the art or whatever all that rubbish was.
Lost the love for food, so which is kill people.
Yeah, fine. It is what it is. I think. I mean, it was a decent movie. I thought.
I think it's a very fun movie to watch.
Fun?
Yeah, it's fun, man.
You're a weird character.
But not like fun in the fact that like I love seeing people dying, but it's like it's fun to the not only the mystery but also the sanity is unraveling as the movie progresses.
Yeah.
and the sanity of everyone, which is hilarious.
One of the funniest parts was dude was like, hey, whatever this man's name, Derek, he was my angel investor. Now I'm going to drown him looking like an angel.
Like, that was not funny. But like the part that...
No, just the man's just like, well, I'm going to drown him because he told me to do these things. I didn't want to do them.
I love that at that point, though, that they're still like, oh, it's all part of the show.
Yeah.
Hey, guys,
that was after the dude shot himself.
Oh, dude, that was wild.
Bro, as soon as they put that tarpaulin down, I knew that was going to happen.
I thought maybe they'd like, someone would like slit his throat like a pig.
Yeah, so that's actually, I thought they were going to be doing that. They were just going to have, and like, man's just on a spit. Which is just not what you want to see. But I think, because...
I mean, regardless of what kind of spit you're doing, you're going to need some tarp.
The only time you're putting a tarpaulin down in a fancy restaurant is someone's going to die.
Yeah.
Because realistically, what do you use tarpaulin for?
Clean up things without having to clean up things.
The mess.
Yeah. Yeah, that scene, wild. That scene was wild to me. And obviously that's the big moment where they're like, something's messed
Hold
up
up here. Hold up.
Now I'm still thinking about that time when I was saying stuff and I forgot what I was saying, and then I like just started spilling garbage. I'm gonna sit with that for the whole weekend.
That's okay.
When that man shot himself in the head, one, that's quite a wild thing to see on the screen.
Yeah, that really surprised me.
Right? But also the lead up to it, that was a harsh lead up to just anyone to listen to. When he's like, hey, you want to be in my position, but you're not, are you? Like, what do you think of yourself? Like, do you think you're a good chef? Like, do you think you're worthy of this position? Mans is saying no. When it got to that point, I was thinking, is this going to be aimed at me? Like, are they going to just be like, I'm sitting here with COVID. Like, I can't go out into the community and do work things. I'm just sitting here. Like, are they going to tell me I'm not good enough? Is that what this whole movie is going to be about? Telling me I'm not good enough? And I was like, this is a wild
And then
ride.
it cuts to a black screen. You just see the reflection of your face in there. Oh, man.
You know that video of that guy that's talking about how good he is at Wii bowling? And he's filming it. And then like the screen goes dark and it's just him in his underwear. And he's like, oh man, the game like played me.
That's, that was you.
That was me.
You watching that. You're going like, am I not good enough?
Yeah. This is what I was thinking. This is going to be one of those movies when at the end they give you a mirror and they say you are the biggest monster.
That's why you have to get anti-glare screens.
Yeah.
Because if there's anti-glare, then you can't see yourself.
You can't see yourself, man.
And that protects all from all self-doubt. Then you go out into the world and you're just like, I'm the best.
But then it doesn't go there, which I was very much happy with. But then I also think and look, smarter people than me would be able to link those two moments with the overall story arc. But I couldn't link those moments together.
As in that everyone was going to die?
No. As in like why he's going after these people.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Why does this man have to kill himself in front of everyone because he's not good enough? To then these people, they're bad people because they're doing investment things, which is like the things that they did were obviously not that good. Is it because you have all these people who are working hard to be in that position that guy's in, he's probably not making that much money, but he's almost like a servant to these other rich people who think he's not good enough or think he's lesser than, and that's why he gets to that point where he shoots himself. Is that the message?
I mean, I don't really think there's a message here.
Or is it just like, this is crazy, this is insanity, but it's going to continue?
Yeah, that's right. That's what I think it is. Yeah. Also wild that Nicholas Hoult, mans knew that everyone was going to die and he was just there. He was just there.
There was a couple revelations in here that I think were good. Obviously, Nicholas Hoult being aware of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And that's why he was just so excited and taking photos of everything regardless of, like, even when they did the thing where they had to run away because it was like a Hunger Games style scenario.
He was just chilling there.
He was just chilling because he knew.
He knew.
But then also the fact that, he then got given an opportunity to be the chef.
That was hilarious because Mans was in there and I thought he was going to do something wild, but Mans just didn't. I also thought when he was cutting, he was just going to start chopping his fingers.
Damn.
I thought that was going to happen, but it didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
He hung himself instead.
He hung himself. There's two suicidal moments in this movie.
This is honestly, there was a few parts of this movie where I was thinking, man, they made this movie and they did these things, but like to what end?
They just wanted to go wild.
I know, but I think the issue I have with it is that they have this overarching story or message or whatever that you got to go back to your roots, or rich people suck, do good things.
Yeah.
But anytime a Hollywood movie puts on a show and says, man, these rich people, look at these rich people, they suck. They're the worst people in our society. We should kill them all.
Yeah.
Which is not what I'm saying. It's what the movie is saying.
That's what the movie's saying. And then they're making
money. And then they're there sitting back and they're just like, 999,999. They just count their millions.
Yeah.
Ray Fiennes is looking at that, and he's looking at that money. He's like, this is fine because I'm rich.
We've talked about this. I can't remember what
it
episode
was.
We talked about.
Glass Onion.
Glass Onion.
Glass Onion.
Because Glass Onion was the biggest. Like, let's get all the biggest stars in Hollywood and just talk about how we hate the biggest stars in Hollywood.
Yeah, which
makes sense.
Because I understand if heads are making these B movies or whatever. I understand if someone's making that and doing.
You're saying like ground level grassroots filmmakers
that's
making
the thing.
these things.
These, by definition, these people aren't at the level of the people that they're trying to kind of emulate.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that they may have been that person at some point, but it's not.
I mean, after this movie, they became that person. Like, I know after the director made maybe he made a couple mil off of this, he was going straight to like the most expensive restaurant and he just said like, kiss my feet while you're at it,
No, but I mean, anyway.
But it is funny to see that. It's like, it's funny for us to laugh at conspiracy theorists when we're making a podcast that gets like 20 views in like 3-minute view time.
So hold on, what's funny?
It's funny that we laugh at them when we're just as laughable.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that you can't make fun of us.
No, I'm not.
I'm just saying
it's
a bit. We're not out here saying like, hey, man, all these other podcasts, man, they suck. This is the podcast.
I mean, this is the podcast where we though.
This is the podcast, but it's not. We're not out here saying the other podcasts suck. We're just saying this is the podcast because this is the exact content that we want to consume because we make it essentially. Yeah.
Which, I mean, you could make a movie about that.
Well, I mean, multiple people have told me that I'm not funny, and this podcast is not funny.
Yes, it's a hard reality that we have to live with, but I'll enjoy that.
But it's okay because if I just talk to you and you find me funny, and then you talk back to me and I find you funny, then there's no issues here.
Well, this is the key to podcasting. Doesn't matter how many views you get. Like, if you're laughing, you're having a good time, you've won.
Exactly.
That's how you win today, man, and that's what Ray Fiennes needed to figure out.
I wrote a few things down on this.
Before you get into that, where I think the movie fell off a bit was where it became like the lady who's at the front of house. She's chasing Anya Taylor-Joy, just trying to like piece her up with cleavers.
Yeah, that was wild. Hey, he didn't even tell me to get the barrel.
Yeah. That got a bit. Again, I was thinking like, where are we? What am I trying to?
I think it fell apart a bit at the end, but then really came together when they were just all dressed up as schmores.
That was great.
That was hilarious because
good.
They're just sitting there and they're just. I mean, they're getting roasted and they're just sitting there and they're going, well, I'm going to wear this marshmallow jacket.
I love that they didn't. I know that they have nowhere to go.
You know why they didn't? I know why they didn't do anything. Even in the seconds before their inevitable doom.
Yeah.
I know why they didn't start throwing hands or going crazy. Because they looked at Anya Taylor-Joy, ordered a cheeseburger. She said, can I get that takeaway?
Yeah.
She left. And then all I had to do to get out of this place was order a cheeseburger.
Take away.
And they're thinking, well, that's on me.
That's on me. And I love that, in that moment, they're just like, hey, don't worry about it, brother. Just leave. We're good. We're good. Don't worry about it. It's obviously they I think they must realize that they're reaping what they sow.
Yeah, but
like, one of the mans, yes, a couple of the people did very bad things. One of the mans made a movie.
That's right.
That was like, it was like a Patch Adams style movie.
A bit of a fool, and also the lady who was his assistant or whatever.
She's just doing work things.
I mean, she may be kicked a few cats or something in her time, but
she made her kill some cats.
Kicked some.
Oh, kicked some cats.
I don't know. We don't have the origin story of. I don't even know. I don't know any of the people's names in this movie, which I don't. No. It doesn't really matter, I guess.
No. It doesn't matter.
I thought there was a Jeremy. Is that the guy that shot himself?
He could have been, man.
I feel like Jeremy's.
So like, I get it. You know, the critic as well. She shut down some restaurants.
Yeah, but
like,
she shut down some restaurants. If a restaurant's getting shut down because one person says, "Hey, this restaurant's no good,"
yeah. How much do people actually look to critics as well these days?
I've never. The critics I look at is the
Yelp
Google reviews,
yeah.
and you sort by newest, and you basically take the top, 50 or so, scrolling through, and you go, well, if all these people are saying the same thing,
It must be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it must be fine, or it must be right.
It must be. Go on with your points that you have, because Ray's pretty. He's pretty happy with that.
One of the things that I was thinking that would be funny is if when he was saying to all the men, you go for a run or whatever. I was thinking like, hey, so you guys seen the Hunger Games? and then just everything just went wild from there.
Yeah, dude.
Because that was my thinking going into the movie. It just turned into the Hunger Games. That's why I initially didn't want to watch the movie.
Because you thought that was the whole thing.
I don't want them to go sit down, have some creme brulee, and then go, well, now it's the Hunger Games.
I love that they didn't kill them right then. They just sort of brought them back. And some mans were wet. Some mans were just,
The man was on a boat and they still managed to bring him back.
I don't get that. But also he's a crypto bro. I don't get, he got his comeuppance for some reason. The part that I love was the old man. The old man who did me two things.
Yeah.
He got his finger cut off.
Yeah.
And then he's just sitting there holding on to his bleeding hand for the rest of the movie. And people are like, hey, we can just still stay here. There was no rush him. Let's rush him. Let's just run at Ray Fiennes.
Well, at the end, they've got all the knives.
They do have all
But
the
also
knives.
something like that, it either requires one person who just goes wild or it requires coordination.
That's the biggest issue. That's the biggest issue.
But also, heads in that situation, that's flight, flight, or freeze.
Too many people froze though, man. And I mean, this is a factor that's in our system. It's not something that we control. Fight, flight, or freeze is something that just happens. You don't know which one you're going to get, but you're going to get one of them.
You're going to get one of them.
But at some point, the freeze or the flight has to stop, and you start thinking. When you're in that situation for 6 hours, and you're thinking, I've got a steak knife right here. If I tell John Leguizamo to get his steak knife out as well, we'll
John
piece
Leguizamo?
up. That's the actor. We'll piece up at least 6 people.
John Leguizamo, what a name!
It's a good name.
That's a good name.
You'll piece up at least 6 people, even if you just scratch them a little bit. At least you're going down knowing you tried.
At least they're looking a little bit worse for wear while they get burnt.
Yeah,
at the same time as you.
Yeah, good movie though, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this is probably a 6 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I think 7
because it fell apart. Yeah, I feel like it fell apart but also in another sense, well, maybe it was just wild and just got wilder. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm saying
because Mans is going there saying, "You guys ruined my art. You didn't have to open this thing.
You could have just shut down, opened a burger place, and then there's your art back."
That's right.
But he didn't realize that that was the art that he wanted.
No, that's right. So he had to kill people, and then he realized on that journey.
Yeah.
And that when you put the plan to action, I can't back out now.
I mean, that burger did look pretty nice.
That burger did look good. It made me want a burger. I'm also starving right now. So
you hungry? It's good that you're hungry, man, because usually you won't eat, but now you eat because you're hungry. So I'm happy about that. I'm just saying not as much as me,
No one eats as much as you.
Well, look, I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that moment. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I'm gonna say that this is a fun watch just to watch it. But I will say, if you ain't into people shooting themselves or hanging themselves, this is not the movie for you.
This is wild.
Because they'll pull that on you. They'll pull that on you. Look, I'm gonna tell you one thing only. That was the menu. And this has been the back catalogue.
Talk soon.